Welcome into another edition of the Hops and Spirits Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Green. And are you still doing dry January, or has 2021 kicked you back into just the regular drinking January? We've got a great episode for you this week as we continue our dry January highlights. This time we go to the spirits side after last week talking with Athletic Brewing and the craft beer side, or the non-alcoholic craft beer side of dry January. We'll talk to Laura Lashley here in just a little bit. And don't forget to stick around for the end of the episode as I give you a little bit more information on our Drinking Buddies giveaway. Because if you haven't signed up yet, you're missing out on a great giveaway, including some 450 North beer details following our interview with Laura. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Hops Spirits, all one word. And you can also find us on YouTube now. Let's not waste any more time. And joining us here on the Hops and Spirits Podcast for Dry January is Laura Lashley, the National Education Manager for Seedlip Spirits, where she leads the brand's training and advocacy programs here in America. Laura, thanks for hopping on.
Thanks for having me.
Now, a nice little icebreaker. I was reading your bio that you sent us before the episode, and you've lived a few different places. What's your favorite place you either lived in or got to go visit?
Oh, wow. That is a tough one.
Put you on the spot to start.
Yeah. Hard questions right off the bat. Honestly, I live in Los Angeles now, which is great. And, the weather is hard to beat, but, I lived in New York City for 14 years, and I think my heart will always be in New York. So I'm going to have to go East Coast as my answer for that one.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm an East Coast guy, although I've not lived in the big cities, more of the nice little rural towns in West Virginia and Kentucky. So
Nice.
Now we're here to talk a little bit about dry January, but we did beer last week with Athletic Brewing. Now we're going to talk spirits, and that brings us to Seedlip Spirits. What is Seedlip Spirits for those that may not have heard of it or are unsure of it?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I know it's a new concept, a non-alcoholic spirit. So that is what we call ourselves at Seedlip. We're a non-alcoholic spirit inspired by nature, and it is inspired by traditional distilling techniques that were kind of around in the 1600s. We use botanical flavors to kind of create these delicious, complex, uh, no sugar, no alcohol spirits that you can use to build a beautiful non-alcoholic cocktail, or drink really simply with a premium ginger ale or a premium tonic water.
And then the creator was Ben Branson. How did he come up with the idea for Seedlip? Because to me, that's an interesting story on how you all got started.
Yeah, that's the origin story for Seedlip is really unique. I think Ben, as you mentioned, Ben Branson is the creator, and he has a really interesting family history. His mother's family has been farming in northern England for over 9 generations. So there's 300 years of agriculture history in his background. Um, they farm primarily English peas, which he's super passionate about. But basically, Ben was growing some rare herbs in his garden. He loves nature. He loves growing things and being connected to nature. So he was trying to figure out if he could make something unique with these plants that he was growing. And in doing that, he did a bunch of research and came across a book that was published in 1651 called The Art of Distillation. And in this book, it really piqued his curiosity because there was both alcoholic and non-alcoholic recipes. And so he thought, okay, if they were making non-alcoholic distillates in the 1600s, I could certainly try my hand at doing something like that today. So he bought a copper pot still off the internet, started tinkering, and that really was all kind of coming from his own experience of going out, to really nice restaurants and bars. And when he wasn't drinking, having really poor choices. So basically having to choose between like super sugary mocktails, which is a word we try to avoid at Seedlip, or having to basically drink water or Diet Coke. And so he thought there was really a place for a sophisticated adult non-alcoholic beverage that would kind of stand alongside food and really complement the occasion. So that's where Seedlip started.
Yeah, well, it's a fascinating story because I just imagine him going into a restaurant asking for as you said, a mocktail type drink, and he gets this big pink fruity thing, and he's trying to eat a nice steak or something, and that just probably did not sit well
Yeah.
with him at the time.
Yeah, yeah, he always talks about, like, that experience of basically looking across the table, seeing, your friends having a Manhattan and your other friend having a really nice glass of red wine, and it's like, the food, it goes with the food and all this stuff, and then the waiter bringing over this, like, childish, sort of, like, gigantic pink sugary fruit bomb, which, A, doesn't match the occasion, looks totally, childish or looks off in the setting, but then also, like, obviously flavor on the palate just like completely not complementing the food or the flavor. So yeah, I think it was a need that he saw that I think Seedlip really fits into.
And then, you kind of touched on it. He kind of read the book to learn the distilling process, but it still took him some time to really kind of nail it down. But now you all have kind of a very timely process. How does that process differ from what one might expect when you're making a spirit?
Yeah, I think, obviously like I said, he bought a copper pot still off the internet and kind of started tinkering, but it definitely took a little bit more science than that to land on the final product in liquid for Seedlip. Um, there are lots of ways to make, a non-alcoholic product, but at Seedlip, the botanical ingredients are really important. So we actually do use alcohol in the process to extract flavor out of those ingredients. So unlike, say, a copper pot still gin, where you kind of throw all of the botanicals into the neutral grain spirit and kind of distill them all together, each individual botanical gets a separate process with Seedlip because they are all so sort of scientifically different. They need, different maceration times, different ABVs, different temperatures in order to extract their sort of maximum flavor. So there is a quite lengthy process, but we extract the sort of peak flavor from each individual botanical, distill it for concentration and for stability, and then they are filtered, blended, and bottled together to create the three different expressions.
And then how difficult was it for folks to kind of grasp this idea of a non-alcoholic spirit? Because I mean, there's been some non-alcoholic beers that have been around for a while, but even that was kind of like taboo unless you were like the designated driver type thing. How difficult was it for Ben and Seedlip to kind of go out there and show people that no, this is a quality product that you'll enjoy?
Yeah, I honestly think it was the right product at the right time. There's a huge shift, I think, happening in our cultural landscape in terms of what people care about. We know that people are putting a huge amount of emphasis into like knowing what they put into their bodies and taking care of themselves. The health and wellness industry is booming. People are drinking less globally, and when they are drinking, they're drinking more premium products and things that they are handcrafted or organically made or whatever. So there really kind of was a cultural shift already at play that I think made this really the right time for Seedlip to sort of take off. Um, Ben always kind of talks about his first listing for Seedlip was at Selfridges, which, if you're not familiar, is like a beautiful department store in the UK that also has a really premium grocery and a premium wine and spirits section. And he didn't really know if people would respond to this product because it was such a sort of wild idea. And he, hand bottled his first 1,000 bottles and thought, okay, this is going to last me like a while. We'll see if anybody's into this non-alcoholic spirit thing. And he took it to Selfridges, and it had sold out within a week. And he had to make another 1,000 bottles, and those sold out within a day. And then when they listed it online, his next 1,000 bottles sold out in an hour. So he was like, "Oh, okay, I think I'm onto something. I think people actually want this. I think this fits a need for people's lives." And I think, that's not to say that there haven't been people that have been resistant or haven't been hiccups along the way, but I think, the demand is there for sure.
I love that. I might hold on to these might be here for a month, and the next
Yeah.
thing you know, and like 1 month, he's already sold 3,000 instead of the 1,000. That's just crazy to hear that. Obviously, you guys are doing things a little different in terms of how you're making spirits and stuff. What are there unique challenges that go with that maybe so-called normal distillers don't face because of what you're doing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say, there's different challenges for sure. I think, not that it's easier or harder to make, any kind of product, but the stability and the shelf life, of course, are something with an NA product that are different. And as I mentioned, Seedlip doesn't have any sugar. So the sort of science around getting a shelf stable product that doesn't need to be refrigerated is tricky. And also, it was quite important to Ben that Seedlip be clear, and that it really, and not be cloudy or sort of, a certain color, because he really wanted it to sit alongside premium spirit offerings on a back bar and really kind of hold that place. And so that is to get, a flavorful, shelf stable, non-alcoholic product that you can leave on your back bar once it's opened and it's clear. Those do definitely present some scientific challenges, but we're really proud of the liquid, and the way that it behaves in cocktails, I think, is really special.
I was gonna say you all must be doing something right, because it's worldwide now, and it's doing great. Switching gears a little bit and talking a little bit about yourself. Um, how did you get into a career in drinks? Because I mean, you were, before you joined the Seedlip team, you were head bartender, bar manager for one of the bigger New York City bars. So how did you wind up in this crazy industry?
Good question. I, like a lot of people in the hospitality industry, I went to acting school. So kind of a bartender cliche. Went to acting school in New York, and needed to pay the bills and stuff. Post college, I found myself working in bars and restaurants, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I got so much genuine satisfaction out of, serving people and being behind a bar, and I also loved the creative outlet of making cocktails. And I started bartending in about 2008, 2007. So this was kind of when craft cocktails were really taking off. And I just thought it was a really exciting thing to be part of. So I got swept up in that moment, and I stayed, bar managing and bartending in New York for about 12 years until I moved to LA and started working with Seedlip.
I was gonna say, how much fun is it to come up with creative cocktails, or how much fun is it to be doing a cocktail event for 400, 500 very important people to companies? Because I think I read that you guys were having to do events on that large of a scale.
Yeah, I worked everywhere from like really small craft cocktail bars to working with really top catering companies that were doing, 2,000 person events at the Met. So, there's all kinds of fun challenges that come with those different environments. But and that's, I think, partially why I got so excited to be involved with Seedlip, because when you work in all of these different environments, you kind of see that this experience of going out to a party or going to an event, having a drink, is about so much more than just alcohol. There are so many elements of hospitality that are important, and so many ways you can serve and give someone a great, memorable experience. And so being able to do that for 100% of people who come through the door, whether or not they're drinking, is something that is really cool and unique to Seedlip. That's kind of what lights the fire for me and makes me really passionate about it.
I was gonna say, well, I mean, you kind of answered it a little bit there, but is that kind of why you were able, or why you wanted to make the jump to Seedlip and move out west?
Yeah, I had already had the plan to move to Los Angeles when Seedlip kind of came across my path, and it was really exciting to me because it was new. And I think that has been kind of a consistent, the newness and the sort of excitement of the innovation of Seedlip was kind of the thing that really stood out to me. And it's true as far as the creativity of making cocktails as well. I mean, I think for most bartenders, uh, non-alcoholic drinks were sometimes, I always felt kind of stuck. I didn't really, back when I was running bar programs, I found myself not really getting that excited about making cool non-alcoholic drinks because I just didn't really know where to start. And I think that Seedlip provides such a cool opportunity to inspire bartenders with creative flavors, because we're all used to kind of taking a base spirit and then thinking, okay, well, these flavors would go great with this bourbon because of the notes, the flavors in the wood that I'm getting or whatever. And having that template or that foundation in an NA product to kind of use as a jumping off point for creativity, I think is really nice for bartenders. And it's definitely opened my mind into the way that I think about flavor and the way that I think about constructing cocktails.
And then your role as national education manager, besides talking to fine folks like myself, what does that role entail?
Yeah, these are this is the fun part. No, it's great. I worn a lot of hats because I was the first full-time employee for Seedlip in the US. So I've kind of been on the ride and gotten to touch a lot of different parts of the brand and do a lot of different things. But currently, you know, prior to March of last year, I was doing a lot of traveling and a lot of events around the country and a lot of visiting new markets, working with our distributor partners and introducing Seedlip to bartenders around the country. And then obviously in the last year, that's been mostly over Zoom and things like that. But I've gotten to do really cool, IG Live master classes with different people, retail partners. And I still work really closely with a lot of our distributors. We've launched Seedlip in like 24 new states over the last 6 months. So we've gotten, I get to really be hands on with education is key, I think, for us because this is such a new product. So, I get to help introduce and spread the gospel to everybody from, like you said, from people like you and doing things like this to talking to, bartenders and our accounts and all kinds of stuff.
And then for those wondering, you all have three spirits that are available right now: the Grove 42, Spice 94, and Garden 108. Can you just talk a little bit about each a little bit and kind of what they bring to the table? Because I know they're each done in a certain way to give different flavor profiles, correct?
Yes, yeah. They're all very different siblings in the family, as I like to think of them. I get asked a lot, like, which one's the gin or which one's the rum? And I think it's really important to kind of say that, Seedlip did not set out to replace specific flavor profiles present in alcoholic spirits. So, we don't have a faux whiskey or a faux gin. Even though we do get compared to gin quite often because of the botanicals, there's no juniper in any of the seedlips. We're not trying to replicate those flavors. We really want them to have their kind of own special vibe. So with on that note, the Seedlip Garden 108 is a kind of our herbal expression. And the 108 stands for all of the numbers associated with the different flavors have a special meaning that's kind of like a nerdy fun fact about one of the botanicals. So the 108 is the number of days it takes on average from the time you plant a pea until the time it's ready to be picked. And the garden has English peas, hay, spearmint, rosemary, thyme, and hops. So it's super herbaceous and grassy and fresh. Delicious as a base spirit for something like an East Side or a gimlet. You can make a really fun virgin Bloody Mary with it. But also play up those savory notes and make something like a dirty martini. So lots of ways to kind of work with that one. Next up is the Grove 42, and that one is our citrus. And so pretty straightforward. This one has lots of flavors that people know and love. Three kinds of orange peel: blood orange, bitter orange, and mandarin. And then ginger, lemongrass, and lemon. And this one, really zesty. And we use just the peel from the citrus. So nice and kind of like complex citrus bitter oil flavor. And it's really delicious. We have a margarita variation we do with that one, which is delicious. And you can drink these all very simply, like I said earlier, with just a premium tonic water or a premium ginger ale and highball. So you don't have to make crazy complex cocktails with them, although you certainly can. And then last but not least is the spice. So Spice 94 was the first seedlip actually that Ben developed. And this one I think is really versatile and fun to mix with. It has allspice, cardamom, grapefruit and lemon peel, American oak bark, and cascarilla bark. And so it has like a really kind of almost dusty earthiness to it, but it has great structure from the allspice berry. It smells very wintry. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, this smells like Christmas," which definitely makes a great toddy, or an old-fashioned variation for sure. But I also really like it in tropical sort of tiki variations because of the allspice. It pairs with fruit really well. So that one's super fun to mix with as well.
And
So yeah,
then
those are the three.
I was gonna say, I mean, and it's nice that they kind of touch a variety, so you can have different options, whether you're doing it at home or a bartender's trying to come up with different creations. Are people kind of shocked the first time they actually get a cocktail with Seedlip? Because I would assume they're expecting kind of that older style maybe, and then they get something like this that is more kind of sophisticated in a sense.
Yeah, I was just talking to a friend about this. Like, I feel like you can do something very simple with Seedlip and kind of blow people's mind, which is really rewarding. As a bartender, as a brand ambassador, I get to just like, show them, a really simple application, and people are like, "Wow, look at all this flavor. This is incredible." Because I think we are so used to non-alcoholic drinks being really sweet or kind of two-dimensional, and so introducing these botanical flavors, and they are adult flavors, they're not just your kind of run of the mill, you know, flavors that you would find in a LaCroix or something like that. So they are these kind of complex, bitter, herbaceous flavors that people are like very surprised to get in a non-alcoholic application. And I think, they taste adult, which is really what we were after. We want them to taste like an adult drink, even though they don't have booze.
I was gonna say you want to have it like you're out at your fancy restaurant that you're having your night out with your significant other, and you want it to taste enjoyable. And it seems like you guys are doing that with everything you put out. Since you're the education guru and you enjoy cocktails, what are maybe one or two cocktails people could try at home with Seedlip?
Yeah, I think, there are tons of recipes on our website if you want to dive deep into like what all the different, applications are. We've also recently done an e-cocktail book, which was, seedlip lovers from around the country, actually from around the world. We have international people too that submitted recipes. And so we made a kind of e-cocktail book that's free to download on our website that has fan favorites in it. But for me, I'm a tonic lover. I really love, that kind of like crisp bitterness of tonic water. So a really simple thing that I like to do, if you like tonic, I like to mix the Seedlip Garden with a splash of elderflower cordial and tonic water, or an elderflower tonic and a slice of cucumber. I think that's like really refreshing. It hits the spot for me. Like, even though, we're all kind of working from home these days, it's still, you still want that definition of like my work day's over and now I'm transitioning into my evening or whatever. And that drink for me really hits the spot. And then the other one I would say is, I mentioned our Grove Margarita recipe, but I think that one's really simple to make at home. It's literally just Seedlip Grove, some agave syrup, a squeeze of fresh lime, and a little pinch of salt. And that one hits the spot and is easy to make as well.
And then if someone's still on the the edge, like not sure they should try Seedlip, but it's dry January and they're like, well, I still want my spirits. What would you say to them?
You mean like if they wanted to make a low ABV option with it, or?
Either that or just to actually take the dive in and give just it a try in general.
Yeah, I think January is a great month because, I not that you have to be doing dry January, but I think all of us are kind of trying to maybe restructure our habits or think about, the intentions we're setting for the year. I just think it's a good time to try something new. It's the beginning of the year. It's a fresh start. So I think it's a perfect time to try something new. And you don't have to be a master mixologist to enjoy Seedlip, but it is designed to be mixed. And I want to, make sure to say that. Like, sometimes people will just pour it over ice out of the bottle and try it, and they're kind of like, I don't get it. This doesn't taste like what I thought it would. And so, it really is meant to be kind of the spirit of your drink, but it is meant to be mixed. So you want to use 2 ounces of Seedlip and then 4 ounces of your ginger ale to make that highball to get like the really perfect balance of flavor.
I love that, and you're correct. Whether it's dry January or semi dry January for me, it's a perfect time of year to start something new and try something new. And Laura, I always like to ask this kind of as my last question. But what's next for Seedlip? Because you all are still a relatively young company, about 4 or 5 years old. What's next for you all?
Yeah, very good question. We have lots of exciting plans, and I think, the continued sort of competition in the non-alc space is really exciting for us because that means that the category is growing. It means that people's interest in it is growing. So we actually have a sister brand that we've launched in the UK called Acorn. And we're really excited to finally bring that brand over stateside this year. So look out for that. And I love those liquids. I'm really, really passionate about how delicious they are, and they're, very different than Seedlip, but still part of the family. So excited to expand our offerings there. And then other than that, we've got some new innovations, so, I can't say too much, but,
Ah, darn.
I won't slip up. They don't let me say the secrets, and I don't actually know them all. But we do have innovation coming with another Seedlip extension of our family in the near future. And I think we're just excited to see where this category grows. And like I said, we've launched in over 20 states in the last year, and so just really looking forward to growing our footprint in the US, working with more retailers and more bars and restaurants, becoming more available across the country. Our vision at Seedlip is, we're on a mission to change the way the world drinks, and we're what to drink when you're not drinking. So we're hoping that this next year will be just a really exciting extension of that growth. And yeah.
I love the tagline too. Drinking when you're not you're the drink when you're not drinking,
Yeah.
because it kind of sums it up very very well for what you all hope to be and what you all are doing.
Yeah, thank you.
And Laura, I really appreciate you taking the time to share the Seedlip story, and folks, you should give them a try for sure.
Yeah, we've got, you can definitely check us out. We have a great website that has a bunch of information. I said recipes, but also you can order direct at seedlipdrinks.com.
It was really great getting to talk to Laura and hear the Seedlip Spirits story, because it is dry January or semi-dry January, or maybe just a chance for people to kind of reboot and scale back a little bit of their adult beverage fun. But this kind of keeps things adult beverage like and gives you that extra option in your arsenal for drinks, so to speak. And I was, like I said, fortunate enough to get a few samples in to try. Haven't gotten to make a ton of recipes yet. A few that I've either tried or I'm excited to. Their Grow 42 cocktail, one that I am really looking forward to trying because it's perfect for my wife as well, is their Margarita, which is 2 ounces of the Grow 42, a tablespoon of some agave syrup, some fresh lime juice, some ice. Shake it up, a little salt on the rim, lime wheel, and you have a nice little margarita, a non-alcoholic margarita. Pretty much all of them come. You can use a highball format. That's what I've tried. And you get those nice flavors to come through from each of them. You can use ginger ale or some other type of topper, so to speak. Another one that I think is great for those that love a good Kentucky Mule or something on those lines. The Spice 94 has a spiced mule. 1.5 ounces of Seedlip Spice 94, some ginger nectar, some fresh lime, and a little bit of soda. And basically you've got a spiced mule drink, just like you would any other time of the year. So like I said, they got a lot of cool recipes. You can check out our Instagram and social media pages, as we'll be highlighting some of those over the rest of the month. And remember, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Hop Spirits, all one word. While you're there, don't forget to check out some of our friends of the show, like Dad's on the Deck and One Sip Beer Review. One Sip Beer Review does near daily beer reviews, has awesome giveaways, and they have a whole lot of fun. That's at One Sip Beer Review on Instagram. And like I said right before our interview with Laura, don't forget to join our Drinking Buddies Club. It's a fun way to win things and also keep up with the show. And our very first giveaway has a lot of cool things. It features not just one, but 5 different beers as we clean out our beer fridge for the holidays. And guess what you can win when you sign up? And it's all free. You can win a 450 North Brewing Dragon Layer Slushy XL, a Country Boy Nacho Bait Habanero Blonde Ale, one of my favorites. And yes, you do get that kick there. The Dayton Beer Company Java Man Cometh Coffee Stout. Nice little coffee stout there for those folks. A Dortmunder Gold Lager from Great Lakes Brewing. And then because it's dry January, we throw in a Free Wave Double Hop IPA from Athletic Brewing. So you can win all 5 of those. All you got to do is join our email club, the Drinking Buddies. Go to any of our social media pages, click the link. It'll take you there. It's free, simple. All it takes is less than a minute, and you're signed up to win. That's the Drinking Buddies Giveaway Club, and we'll be doing monthly giveaways. Sometimes it'll be swag from those that we've talked to. Other times it'll be something out of our beer fridge, and who knows, for the whiskey lovers, bourbon lovers, we might have a few samples that we want to share with you all as well. So just check out our social media pages, click the link, and then sign up for our Drinking Buddies Club. And until next time, cheers, everyone.